Hello, thank you for coming back to my kitchen. You are very welcome as always. Today I'm going to be making a blueberry, raspberry and lime drizzle cake. It's a lovely cake, fresh fruit cake for the summer. Really tasty. The lime syrup drizzles through the cake like you would do in an ordinary lemon drizzle cake, but this has got the fruit in it too, the raspberries and the blueberries. So the first thing we need to do is put our oven on. That's 180 if you've got an electric oven, that's 160 if it's a fan oven. And I'll just get these right. That's gas mark 4 or 350 if you're Fahrenheit. And this, I've just greased and lined a 20cm tin, just greased with butter with some greaseproof paper, or you can use parchment paper around it. If you want to know how to use this, I think I cut all the paper in the cherry cake, so you go back to have a look, or I'll put a link up above somewhere, okay? So 20cm tin, but it needs to be a deep tin. So the first thing we need to do is cream 4 ounces, or that's 225 grams of butter in a bowl. Sorry, I need to butt in on myself there as I made a mistake. We need 8 ounces, not 4 ounces of butter. So that's 8 ounces or 225 grams of butter. All ingredients are in the description. And then we need to add to that 8 ounces or 225 grams of caster sugar, and add it gradually. And in this jug I have 3 eggs, and we'll just whisk those up to start with a little before we gradually add them to this mixture too. And you'll occasionally need to scrape down the sides to incorporate every bit. And the last of the egg. Now we're going to set this aside as we grate the zest of 2 limes. And zesting is just taking the colour off, so we want all this green colour. We'll have a lot of oils in it and a lot of flavour for the cake. And once that's done, we just pop it into the cake. And give it another whiz up. Next, we're going to fold in 1 ounce or 25 grams of ground almonds, and 9 ounces or 250 grams of self-raising flour, and that I'm just going to sieve in. And to this I'm going to add just a pinch of salt. There, that'll be enough. And just fold that in. When that gets nearly folded in, so about this stage, we're going to set it aside, and I'm going to juice the limes. We need, at this stage, we only need 2 tablespoons, but it normally takes a few limes to get a few tablespoons. Unless, of course, you live in a country where they've got big limes. And I'm using the limes that I took the zest off earlier first, so they get used up. So that's 2 tablespoons of the lime juice. 1, 2, and 1 tablespoon of milk. And just continue to fold that in very gently but thoroughly. There, perfect. Next, I'm going to add the fruit. So that's 4 ounces of blueberries. Oh, one escaped. And 4 ounces of raspberries. And I've just kept a few back on a little plate, just a few, just to put on the top when the cake's in the tin. And just fold those in gently. So the raspberries will break, but they'll make kind of a ripple effect. There, that's perfect. Some of them are still whole, but most of them are a little bit crushed. You can see I've got a whole raspberry there, but most of them are crushed. There, I'll put that in the tin. We'll just smooth the top off. And just dot the fruit that you saved over the cake. Just makes it look a little prettier. There, all done, and that will go in the oven for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. You can leave it for the hour, but after the hour give it a check. It might be an hour and 10, but normally mine is an hour and 15. About halfway through the cooking of the cake, we need to make the lime drizzle, the lime syrup, to pour over the cake, because we'll need to pour the syrup over the cake as soon as it comes out the oven, so when the cake's still hot, straight out the oven. So I have been juicing, I've got 9 limes here, and hopefully it will be 8 tablespoons of lime juice in here. So I'll just get a small pan and put the 8 tablespoons of lime juice in the pan. Or just about 8. Yeah, perfect. And into this we want to put 5 ounces or 140 grams of caster sugar. And I'll just put that on the stove. Next we want to zest 1 lime. Now the zest has to be as small as you can get it because it's going to be in the syrup, so it's going to be on the top, so you don't want bits of zest. Well, maybe you like bits of zest, but I don't particularly like the taste of the zest. I like the flavour of the zest, but not the feel of the zest. That's what I'm trying to say. So I do it on the finest grater that I've got for this syrup. So that's 1 lime we need to zest. And that all just goes in the pan. There, perfect. Then we just put some heat on under it, but a very, very low heat. And the heat will just melt all this sugar gradually, and it will become a nice fine syrup, and you won't get any of this grainy on the bottom from the sugar when it's ready. But you must not let it bubble, it must not boil. We just need it to melt. If you think it's getting anywhere near boiling, just turn it down. Yeah, I can already feel that the sugar's starting to melt. So I will turn that down to 1. I don't want it getting too hot. So just keep this warm now until the cake comes out of the oven. And you'll also need a little cocktail stick when the cake comes out the oven, because we'll need to prick it. So we'll prick the cake about halfway down when it's straight out the oven, still hot, and pour that syrup over. So that's an hour and 10 minutes. Let's have a look. I'm not sure if it's done or not. It's Nearly there. Just stick a knife in it and see. So there's cracks on the top. So stick a knife in a crack. It's not totally clean. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. So that's now had an hour and 15 minutes. That will be done. Oh, and it's pulling away from the sides nicely too. Now, so I'm just going to use this cocktail stick and prick about halfway down the cocktail stick. I'm just pricking halfway and all over. Quite a lot of pricks everywhere. For some reason, and I don't know the reason, but for some reason it doesn't sink in. I never have to prick a lemon drizzle cake, but this needs some holes in the top for it to go into there. And this is warm, this syrup still, and we'll just drizzle this over, getting it into all those holes that we've just made. Let's see if I can get you closer so you've got a better view. That's a bit better. It's just that I haven't got a lot of time. This has to be done as soon as it's out the oven. The syrup that goes down the sides will make the sides nice and sugary too, and some of it drizzles in to the bottom, which is quite nice too. Make sure all of it is covered. Also makes a nice glaze to the cake. A fine bit in the top. There, perfect. And I'll leave that to cool for a good couple of hours. I'll take it out the tin when it's cool, and I'll come back and give it a taste test. So for the taste test, let me show you the cake first. It's gorgeous. Look at all that fruit in there. Hope the camera's focusing on that. Wow, delicious. I'm going to taste a bit of the sponge for you. And a bit of the drizzle. Oh, that syrup is lovely. It's very, very sweet. But you can also taste in the sponge, the ground almonds. They really do add a little bit extra to the sponge. Yeah, so I haven't shown you the whole cake. There you go. It's quite a big cake. Very delicious. So, thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give it a thumbs up as usual, and I hope to see you again very soon.